everybody. Hey, we've got ourselves map 3 on the way. I'm I Hold Shift. With me is Avril. We've had two incredible maps so far. The first one tilting in favor of EQUINOX, just barely 13-10 on Ascent. The more recent, though, on Bind goes the way of FAZE, 13-8. Avril, we've kind of framed a handful of different things when it comes to kind of comparing and contrasting both of these teams, not only from the last time they played each other, which was months ago, it feels like at this point in time, but also just kind of comparing their results from when they both played at the Renegades Invitational and then comparing that to how they've played so far on the week. And for both teams, a lot of positive changes, but so far still the storyline in my mind is the fact that Zach and Corey have been absolutely winning the day outright for FaZe Clan.
For sure, yeah. I mean, Zach so far has been posting up 20 plus every single map. As a Cypher, that's kind of unheard of. Where Cute Fat Boy is no slight against him. A 13-5 is typically more where Cyphers lie. I mean, you look at where Cyphers are in the top level of Valorant so far. I mean, a lot of Cypher players, I mean, they'll be happy to get a few kills in there, but usually you're not going to see them right at the top. Zachary has been, especially as a site anchor, performing exceptionally. You go back into Ascent, there were many, many rounds there where despite being flashed, he either gets a multi-kill or he is able to get at least a 1-for-1 trade at minimum, despite being flashed. Zachary has just been performing out of the mind right now. So yeah, the players that need to maybe step out a little bit more is Baby Bay's a little bit inconsistent, Raucous as well, maybe a little bit inconsistent. Corey's done well enough, but I actually expect a little bit more from Corey. I don't know if that's maybe too much on expectations. Mina on the other end is also very good, but I think Mina had a slow map on Bind, only 11-16 compared to what Mina did over towards Ascent, which is 20+16.
Well, now we're going to go to Split. This is where things get different. We have not seen EQUINOX play this map since they were in the 30-bomb tournament, and in that, they ran triple duelist. Phoenix, Raze, and Reyna being played. I know a lot of people want to see Decop back on a duelist away from the breach, and we will be not treated to that here. He's going to once again pull out the breach for his squad.
So the big thing to notice here is that most teams do trade out the Sova, and on both ends that means Raucous is now on towards the Breach, something FaZe hasn't really played yet, and for EQUINOX that means they will move DXN over towards the Omen, and Pancakes coming through over towards the Raze as well. So Raze is going to make an appearance here. Both teams running an exact mirror, and this does seem like the meta composition here as EQUINOX gearing up for a potential A hit.
And we did see Renegades play this pretty recently versus Space Station Gaming in their group stage, I believe it was. So, yeah, definitely a bit more familiar. We haven't seen, like we mentioned, though, EQUINOX play this map in some time, although their stat line is relatively favorable for it. This pistol round, very slow for now, but watch the long flank coming through from Corey. Well, okay, EQUINOX heard me. They watch it, they find the first kill, and they'll immediately track back right back to the middle of the map.
Not too much more information there. Marv as well onto Cute Fat Boy, so that's a big lurker down early. Cute Fat Boy could have done a lot in terms of making movements. Marv walks into everybody looking for information. I'll tell you what, he certainly found it.
Indeed the case. So now it's going to be down to the breach on top of the site. A little bit of help from Cypher up top, but again, the numbers very, very powerful for EQUINOX Raucous. Here's the spike being planted. Wants to wait for a little bit of assistance, and well, the timing of this peak was not ideal as Baby Bay took the challenge. Raucous chose not to, and as DXN locks down 3 kills in the round, EQUINOX again win another pistol.
Yep, 5 pistols so far. EQUINOX win 4 out of those 5, so that's really, really high win rate there. 80% of the pistols so far in this series across 3 maps have gone the way of EQUINOX. We'll have to see how pistol number 6 goes a little bit later on, but for now, expecting 2 rounds to come on board. EQUINOX are not going to be facing up against FaZe's Force Spy. They're not going to do that on the defense again. And for EQUINOX as well, no chances taken here. No extra pistols being saved up. It's 5 Spectres, full armor, right into the next round.
And no force buys for FaZe as well, losing the pistol. That was the trend through Ascent. Not the case here, though they are getting aggressive, and I think Decop might be aware of this. He was considering tossing out more utility, but then swaps over to the weapon. Flashpoint coming through. Mina can't find a kill. Marv bounces the ground, finds one, but Pancakes and Decop combined for 3. Brilliant flash behind this. You gotta admire the attempt, but doesn't come through all that successfully. Corey now stuck in what is technically a 1v4, made easier by finding the first kill, and you do have 2 members that are relatively low. And with SMGs in front of you, Corey wants to chow this, and this is going to lead to him finding a free weapon, but it comes at the cost of allowing EQUINOX to play it for free.
Yeah, EQUINOX just understand, like, why play into Corey, especially when you got 2 players low HP now between Pancakes and DXN. Too much of a risk. Yo, you'll give him a rifle, not a rifle, but a Spectre, and that's not the worst thing in the world here. They can go for the plant, play a post-plant situation. They spot him on the camera as well. The information is so good, and now Corey has to think, do I go for this? Do I just try and save the gun? I mean, technically, FaZe buy up in the next round anyway, but, you know, this is a little bit of extra money that Corey can save over. He might even just drop the Spectre over to another teammate. Obviously, you want Corey on a rifle. And it does seem like that'll end up being the play. EQUINOX won't chase it either because they'll respect him, being, again, that they only have one member on full HP, and this is not the type of round you want to be chasing guns.
Corey might actually play for exits here. Everyone's expecting him to be over towards A long, and he's completely changed that flow up, and he very well could catch a couple off guard here. Here comes the first contested, but cute fast boy very wisely keeping his gun up will find the kill. So you got to admire it from Corey trying to play for the opposite angle off some exit kills. Maybe the consideration to save, but I really do feel like that was the right call for Corey. Maybe catch a couple players off guard, but not going to come through here. And going in round number 3, now you can essentially full buy up with the exception of Baby Bay, who will be purchased a judge.
Yeah, they swap guns there in terms of Raucous buys Baby Bay a judge, and Baby Bay buys Raucous a rifle there. So we look towards that previous round as well. I mentioned that Corey could have saved, but, you know, going for it, it doesn't matter either way. Saving a Spectre, like I said, they're going to play into an actual gun round, so saving doesn't really do too much. Early flash traded for a fault line. I do believe that FaZe got a decent amount of value in terms of the info there, so they have 3 players now stacked up towards B.
Marved on site. Corey considering going back up over towards the B tower. Has paint shells up. Marved has to back away. He throws the paranoia through, but there's going to be no conversion behind this. Checking the corners is meetup, but checks the wrong one. And now Corey from top finds a kill, but oh my goodness, Marved was flashed what felt like an entire year. And now the spike will be planted by DXN. Corey is still in the mix, though. Just on the low side. Raucous up top. Opportunity to find maybe a couple of eliminations quickly as EQUINOX is not set up exactly where they want to be. Cute Fat Boy caught out completely. Now you're going to try to isolate kills around the site itself. Decop with the ghost for 1 DXN. He keeps his life. Unbelievable DXN 1v1. He wins all 3 from the back corner and saves the round for EQUINOX.
And DXN was the only one that walked into this round with an actual rifle as well. You decop on a pistol. 3 Spectres brought up between Pancakes, Q Fatboy, and Mina, and DXN's the one that closes the door. 6-0. Ultimate confirmed as well. Plenty of money in the bank now for EQUINOX, and FaZe are down 3 rounds. This time, there's no excuses. There's no FaZe. There's no FaZe force buys in the second round leading to another eco. No, this was a true upfront gun round, and we talked about FaZe being good on gun rounds, but apparently not that one.
6-0 for DXN thus far. Really throwing his weight around early for FaZe's consideration, who once again will go to a pretty normal split that we've seen them play so far. Got Marved and Raucous continuing to play over towards B. Corey, of course, middle map with Raze. And EQUINOX is just going to play for intel here. They've got the ability of the Rolling Thunder, and this would be a great round to take away from FaZe. Even though they're on a buy, or pardon me, a Nico, going up 4-0, especially if you could do it convincingly, might be worth the Rolling Thunder.
Marved walks into 2 rather. Feels like 3, feels like way too many members. It's too many is really what it comes down to. Maybe even 1 too many there. And EQUINOX didn't need the help. Rolling Thunder probably won't be used this round. Doesn't need to be used this round. You can definitely play into a much better situation when the gun rounds come back in. This is where EQUINOX can get a lot of rounds in a row, can really exert pressure with the overwhelming amount of money, ults, everything else coming through as well. They can be patient. Don't want to be walking into any Corey judges or other shotgun shenanigans coming on. And Baby Bay also has a shorty.
Interesting. Rolling Thunder going to be used to clear off B tower. Corey tries to find some timing. Oh, he gets a little bit of damage. Aftershock tossed out. Raucous in a tough spot, but does lock in 1 headshot. Baby Bay was second. This is looking pretty punishing. Now all of a sudden it's a 2v2. Mina up top though for a double, but the last contestant was close. Baby Bay V1. And the last player alive is Decop over the top. Decop takes another round away from FaZe, who again looked pretty primed after the Rolling Thunder didn't find much. When you had talked about the fact that the Rolling Thunder may be used as to secure the round, but they use it in a 5v4 in a very inconspicuous position. FaZe made things much more interesting than you thought they were going to be.
I mean, they should have saved the Rolling Thunder for the next round. The Rolling Thunder didn't actually end up doing anything, which again is kind of like 2020 hindsight, but they didn't know that Heaven on B was already clear. They didn't know Male was completely clear already, however. I mean, that's not even the real main talking point there. Right towards the end there, I think Baby Bay could have won that. The only difference is he didn't realize Spike was dropped. He didn't realize Spike was still over towards B main. If Baby Bay knew, he wouldn't have challenged for the 1v1, but that's last round. Over into this round, very quick movements by EQUINOX onto land.
And that cloudburst is actually favorable for Baby Bay with the operator. He could actually scope underneath A ramps, and Spike could find himself a foot based off the angle. Spike does go down quickly, but all 5 members for FaZe are here, including Raucus, who's holding on to a Rolling Thunder. Looks like he's maybe trying to position this for an elbow clear. Here it comes, all the way through. Zach finds first blood. Showstopper also the next for Corey, but he'll be fault line and delayed from potentially using this one through. Trapwire also going to come through. Desperately shots it out, but not able to find any kills. Now all of a sudden, FaZe trying to work their way in from the low ground. Mina from the side, though, will not find anything. And EQUINOX, they're set up just inside this site, but appears to be enough. The Rolling Thunder was brilliantly placed, but the follow-up was never there.
And that is courtesy of D-Cop coming through with the fault line, the trap wire coming through as well from Cute Fat Boy. Planted that one down while they had the site control. So, despite the Rolling Thunder from Raucus being expended there, FaZe wanted to walk up. They even used the showstopper from Corey. Instantly got both stunned, caught up in a trap wire, couldn't move forward, tried to get shot out by his teammates in terms of getting past the trap wire, but everyone's gone. I mean, EQUINOX are not going to be playing directly into the showstopper. The window where the showstopper actually can do something passes so fast, and in the deciding map here, it's 5-0 for EQUINOX.
All on offense. To add a little bit of insult to injury here. Trying to clear out the middle of the map right now is EQUINOX using a flashpoint to try to get an angle, but no one's contesting for FaZe. Corey now going to get a bit aggressive, using his own boom bot to at least free up space to grab an ultimate orb, and that will be the end of his pursuits through B main, and everything will reset. Minute 15 to play.
And EQUINOX this time are the ones that have the showstopper available. 5 guns up versus what I believe to be 4 sheriffs and 1 judge. It's Baby Bay back on the judge as well. I don't think EQUINOX should overcommit to this one, but seeing how the last eco for FaZe went successfully, you'd say it's a success, even though Baby Bay couldn't clutch up the 1v1. EQUINOX are going to take this one slowly. They don't know where FaZe are, and they don't want to walk into unnecessary trouble early on.
But the trouble they're going to be running into here is the spy cam placement for Zach. We'll be able to scout this. Well, he actually doesn't read the information. It gets deleted before he can fully get how many numbers are making this push. Cyber cages are down. Mina trying to work their way through, but it's Baby Bay up top left for a brilliant double. 25 seconds to play. Zach inside the site can't respond to pancakes. Tough fight for him to win. Last pack peek from backside screens as the spike gets planted, but still 3v3, and FaZe are going to stack this together and see if they can just overwhelm by numbers.
And honestly, Baby Bay has done enough here. Gets 2 kills, covers for the fact that Zachary doesn't get a responder either, so both go for a 1-for-1 technically. Showstopper being expended just to keep things safe. EQUINOX, though, maybe use this one a little bit too early. Pancakes has nowhere to shoot it. Doesn't see anybody, but Marv still goes down, so keeping numbers alive.
If you could even play for exits here, if you're FaZe, you've already baited out a couple of kills, plus potentially the ultimate to spend, and yeah, 1 more kill comes through for Raucus. It's one of those that on an eco, just ignore the scoreboard, you say, not bad for FaZe. The problem is, now they're down 6-0.
They were always going to be down 6-0, though, in terms of looking how that round went through. I mean, it's pistols versus rifles here. It's not always a case where ecos can win. The closest they got to winning the eco, like I said, was on that 1v1 with Baby Bay versus D-Cop, and looking towards the future now, we've started to build up a few more ultimates for FaZe as well, 2 online for Marv and Zach. EQUINOX still hold on to 3, including D-Cop on the Rolling Thunder. This is a big round for FaZe. If FaZe drop this one, not only will they lose this half, but also their chance to win the map diminish significantly.
What in the world was that gunfight? Mina able to find Baby Bay, but it was dicey. So at least there's first blood here for EQUINOX. They've got a Rolling Thunder charge as well for D-Cop.
Exactly.
Looks like he wants to maybe pull this one out for an execute over towards B. Neural Theft will be spent, and they're going to realize that, hey, nobody's over at A. Let's go ahead and make this rotation through vents. Rolling Thunder will come through very quickly to clear out A tower, but again, it's an ultimate that doesn't seem like it finds a lot of value. Pancakes will delete from the shadows for FaZe, and this is all just a bait and switch. They're going to come right back over to B quickly, but FaZe is actually still here to meet this.
Raucus coming, Marv on the floor as well. Marv will be up for 1 kill, certainly will find it, can't TP away. Scoop Fat Boy does, we get the trade at the end of the day. 3v4, EQUINOX are losing members now, down to a 3v3. Corey's still there, and the spike has not been planted.
Pancakes for 2 though. last player now been made aware, Zach, who has not had a great defensive half, which is rare considering that he was top fragging for his squad in the previous
30 seconds
two.
left. Spike
And
planted.
again, you're down 0-7 here if you lose this round. You really don't want to give up the weapon either, and you really feel like Zach has to save this.
He's been called by everything. He's been smoked out. Cameras tagged him as well. He has to find 3 kills here, and even then, EQUINOX can go off site. Right now, all 3 EQUINOX members are still chilling on site. There's a half HP Q Fat Boy. But Zachary has to do this instantly, and he's not going to go for it. If he was going to go for it, he would have already gone into heaven or charged through the smoke or done something. They will give up number 7 here. This one really hurts, but it would hurt even more if FaZe drop the extra gun as well. So they'll keep the gun, walk into the next round, and hopefully play a hero rifle. They won't have to go for a full pistol eco. That will help FaZe try and buy back in. But this has been a really, really spectacularly awful half for them, and EQUINOX on the verge now of getting quite a lot more done and looking towards a possible 8-4 or 9-3 finish, which would be excellent.
Yes, this should do.
We talked about, again, just the history on this map. EQUINOX specifically has been great at split in their history. Since the Pulse Series 3-1, they win, on average, 51% of their attacking rounds. But here's the more daunting stat here, Avril. 75% win rate on their defensive rounds. Not great news for FaZe, already being down 7-0. Quick hit for EQUINOX now over towards the A site. Trying to deal with this again as maybe up top. He's going to find a kill and actually be able to tailwind and updraft away to save for confines as Zach is there to help him. So this is not bad. Spike down on the ground. Zach for a double and great timing. And EQUINOX has found absolutely nothing. They're going to be left with the last 2 members outside A ramps.
And Raucus is there as well. Flash catches onto 2. Flash now coming through from Marvin on the other side of the map. They're surrounding them. They don't need to do anything here. FaZe, the worst thing that FaZe can do is over-aggress. Just wait for the timings. Marvin on the back end as well. A very critical 1v1. With the Stinger, Marvin will win that one. Corey on the back of the head towards Mina as well. And that is it. Patience being shown. And Baby Babe once more holding from rafters on A. Gets a kill very quickly with the judge. Snaps away as well. Tailwind into Cloudburst. Into a kill on the spike carrier coming through between Zach and Baby Bay, and that's going to be enough. FaZe wins a very critical round. So, like I said, EQUINOX looking for 8-4, 9-3. They can still get that. But FaZe, bring back 1.
I mean, is it just me, Avril, or are you looking at FaZe saying you need to come out of this half 5-7 if you want to have a chance? Because for me, it's kind of what I'm looking at, and if they can find a way to win this round, they very well could be in a position to swing this economy around, but Mina, again, being freed up by a flashpoint forward, that's going to be a great first blood, and EQUINOX, again, start the round off with a very early 5v4 in front of them.
Yeah, that 5-7's looking less likely now with Corey down nice and early. EQUINOX 5 up versus 4. FaZe, they lose the showstopper there as well. It's a big ultimate. The last 2 ultimates there, not quite as impactful. Baby Bay might want to go for the Blaze if they're feeling particularly frisky, but I think the more realistic outcome here will probably, again, be the 8-4 or maybe the 9-3, even for EQUINOX if they can really clutch up through and hold on to their advantages here. But for FaZe, they need a counter trade nice and quick.
Good damage coming
So
through
far,
off the paint
nothing.
shells. I think that was friendly fire, actually, if I'm not mistaken, from EQUINOX. So the spike's going to try to go down. A lot of utility to use for the retake, but you need to find a kill, and you need to find a kill quickly. Raucus up top might be the player to open things up. Still has 2 flashpoints available for him. You're also going to get the Bladestorm in play. So here comes the attempt. Flashpoint comes out from the shadows, going to be spent, and that's actually going to be just a scout to see what's coming over the middle of the map. Baby on the way in, floating very patiently. The knives are good, almost tailwinds away. Zach will be there to trade off the kill, at least initially. Mina from behind, though, has to go contest for the spike defuse. Is it still being held? No, Zach stepped off it. 1v1, right click, not going to connect with the classic. D-Cup for 3, and EQUINOX now up 8-1.
And D-Cop wins another 1v1 clutch in a very dire situation. FaZe nearly brings it back around. And guess what happens on B again? Specifically on B in a post-1 scenario. D-Cop comes in, 1 versus 1, wins it. Zachary, so close to potentially winning that one. Could have said the same thing about Baby Bay. Have said the same thing about Baby Bay earlier. And 8-1 now. So yeah, the 5-7 dream dead for FaZe on the particular first half that we see here. For the gun round now coming through. Corey gets to use the showstopper again. We talked about the fact that Corey died super quickly on that previous round. Can't afford to do that again.
Aggressive hit once again for EQUINOX mid-map. Baby Bay with a Vandal going to be tasked to respond to what looks to be 3 members through this tower. Paint shells will force him backwards. Also nearby is Raucus to potentially help stall out this hit. Fault line will be sent out by Raucus, but everyone for EQUINOX has bailed away, thinking that this is not a favorable engagement this early in the round.
And big information with Baby Bay as well, just to know that EQUINOX did back out. So they still maintain control over B Heaven for now. Vents is trapped up. Has been destroyed. That's going to cause a bit of alarm in Zach's head right now. You can see that Zach is thinking about what that means. Rolling Thunder. Oh, Baby Bay will get caught by this.
Sure should, but Tailwind will allow him to get onto the low ground. He'll stay alive. That's 3 different Rolling Thunders we've seen from EQUINOX. None of them have been followed up off correctly. They do take away part of the map from top, but Baby Bay down low will find one. Marvin able to help for the immediate trade. Now looking for one more over towards B main. Pancakes will toss out the Boombot, and that will be enough for Marv to get the read that, yep, Pancakes for sure is going to make this play. D-Cup right now there. Topside B tower. He's going to have one player with him, but unfortunately the trades just aren't going to be good enough. 1v3 situation for D-Cop from the site. No spike to play with for now. And we'll be taken down by Corey, no problem. Big round for FaZe, but another missed Rolling Thunder kind of coming through for the side of EQUINOX.
I think it's more of a miss in terms of misreading how many players are going to be holding into Heaven. You're maybe assuming 2 is going to be there. And I don't know, it was just the 1, and the 1 happens to be a Jet player of Baby Bay as well, so it just instantly dashes away. Cloudburst as well to cover the tracks, and you're not going to catch a Jet that has utility available. So if it was versus other players, maybe, possibly. If it's versus Corey and the Rays, last pack away as well. And this is where, you know, if you were thinking, by the way, you were looking at that 7-0 situation, you're wondering, okay, but why is everyone talking about a 9-3-8-4 when EQUINOX is 7-0? I mean, this is why FaZe now have 2 up. They have Showstopper available. EQUINOX have gone for a save, meaning they're looking for a kill, and he finds one. Wow.
The fact that that was the time that he chose to go back over to the pistol, and then he finds himself with just an instant headshot. A bit odd, but totally fine. Defensive Rolling Thunder coming through for Raucus, just trying to keep the B tower safe. He's done well to do just that. Nice flash coming through. That's the spike right in his face. And now all of a sudden, FaZe are here defensively for a 3v4 where all you have to do is bunker up on top of the B tower. There's nothing that can open this up for the side of EQUINOX.
D-Cop just drops the spike in the middle of nowhere. What is he doing? He's so kill hungry. You're the spike carrier. You cannot be dropping the spike right into FaZe territory. Pancakes have to be the X factor, but Corey checks it. It's all over now. Zach for another as well. Consolation prize for cute Bat Boy, but you have to recover the spike versus 2, and this is going to be tough. There's no way that Corey and Co drop this one. Zach's still alive, and Zach can play super safe. He's unknown right now. DXN would have to be a god to know exactly where Zach is.
But the Shrouded Step allows him to get this for free. What a brilliant play. He'll go back. Now we reset the 1v1. 25 seconds to play, and it looks as if DXN wants to make the rotation back to A. There are trap wires that are nearby, but it might not make a difference, Avril.
He's got it. He's going to plant. It might be open as well. Yep, this is going to be open plant.
Wow.
Out-rotated Zach, and Zach's thinking, there's no way. At about the 20-second mark, Zach needed to think about what was going on with the spike. Unfortunately, because Zach was on the ground, which, by the way, versus any other character might have been fine. But the fact that he plays up against DXN on the Omen, and by the way, Zach walks into a trap wire, not his own one, that'll change in the next patch. Zach are now in a 1v1 where EQUINOX knows exactly where he is. And this is going to be really awkward, but Zach swings first, gets the headshot, and wins the 1v1. FaZe, out of 3 1v1 post plants, will finally get one.
But it was, again, too close for comfort. I mean, they did a really nice job, B-Tower, playing for trades. It did seem a bit puzzling that Zach was going to give up the high ground. You obviously saw the angle he was trying to play for, but like you had mentioned, Avril, it's the fact that it was a great read for DXN. I could be looked at down low. Let me just go ahead and Shroud Step over towards the spike, grab it, Shrouded Step back, and gives himself a real good look at a 1v1. But now 3-8, final round of the half, and still for the side of FaZe, they're going to trust Baby Bay with just a judge instead of purchasing him a rifle.
Which means they might want to do something very close range here. You can see that Baby Bay's tucked in right now, over towards the left side of B entry. And there are 3 players, Spike Carry included, where EQUINOX are really thinking about walking forward. And that last round, just to cap it off, by the way, Alan, just to speak on a little bit, it really does start with the fact that D-Cop dropped that spike. That was what made it awkward. And then it got really close, and there's a few different things there. And the reason I say that because, I mean, you have another situation where Spike plus carriers, potentially walk into Baby Bay. We know how good he's been on the judge early. Remember, every single early round, A rafters, Baby Bay always gets those kills. So they walked away from B now, moving up mid.
Yeah, this is a brand new, unique look for FaZe defensively. It just comes down to, will the gamble pay off? A couple of tags coming through as EQUINOX is putting a lot of attention to the middle of the map, but now they're going to rotate over to A, and there's nobody here. And no one that could even rotate quickly. The closest one's going to be Zach. He's got a camera set up to potentially watch this. You see him check it, nobody home. They're playing for a retake. They're going to give A completely up and just try to retake things. So now Cute Fat Boy lurking mid-map. He's going to find first blood. That's going to keep that defense planted a touch longer. Zach going to get a tag off. The Showstopper won't find anything, you feel, but at least the spike will be planted and EQUINOX will be set up for a 4v4 or post plant.
Spike planted.
Really good situation for EQUINOX to be in. Again, last round of the half here, looking for an 8-4, rather for a 9-3 for EQUINOX. But like I mentioned, it was either going to be 9-3 or 8-4, and it does seem like FaZe have brought enough back to keep things competitive. It won't be 5-7. Baby Bay up first. Does have to dodge a little bit of utility, but he is on a jet. No smokes, but trying to get this first kill. Can't find it now. Down to Corey. 1 versus 4. Surely it can't be done.
And it will not be. A risky call for FaZe, trying to stack over towards B, allowing A to go freely over, and again, when Baby Bay's got the judge, your potential of retaking with what you're hoping is going to be your re-entry fragger in Baby Bay becomes extremely limited. We take a look back at how this first half has gone, thanks to GoPuff for the support on this, and so many moments where you thought FaZe were going to be primed to take some of these rounds away. They had numbers at different moments in time, but still not enough in the tank as they got worked defensively here, Avril.
Yeah, I mean, well, you do have to admit, though, some of these defensive rounds, despite losing, I mean, in that initial 7-0, I think maybe 2 to 3 of those rounds were still winnable by FaZe, but just couldn't quite pull it through. I mean, you have situations where it comes down to a 1v1. This is one of the few 1v1s that FaZe actually do win, and even then, it feels like a bit of a coin flip, 50-50 coin toss right there. Could have landed tails. You know, we have a different conversation. It would have been, you know, EQUINOX looking towards the 10-2, but I did feel that FaZe were going to get at least 3 here. They managed to get that 3. You talked about the fact that EQUINOX are great on defense. Also, by the way, we're still keeping track of the pistol rounds.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 for EQUINOX. FaZe 1 out of 5. This is number 6. Who gets number 6?
You've got one player lurking mid-map, that's Corey, offensively for FaZe. Everything else looks to like it wants to go over towards the A site. Defensively set up is going to be Cute Fat Boy at range. And Pancake's just a touch closer towards A tower. Now he's going to make the play over to Rafters. Defense starting to rotate through. Tower's been completely taken by FaZe coming in. Pancakes, how do you respond to this? Nice. We're able to find himself the first. Corey able to get the trade, though. 4v4 we go, but Marv is low. Defense is starting to get here for the potential retake. Cute Fat Boy not able to win his one. And behind that, DXN also falls. D-Cop trying to go aggressive. He's able to find 1 kill, but FaZe have themselves a 3v1. Mina, though, up top has made things a bit easier, and he'll swap the Frenzy for the Ghost. No way in hell! Mina pulls that one off. He gets the final 3. 1v3 clutch up. EQUINOX on 10.
And that is so dangerous for FaZe right now, who desperately need a pistol round because they're on 3. Pistol plus anti-eco would give them 5 to 9. That keeps things nice and competitive. We talked about the 5 earlier, and it just seems like the 5 is so far away. FaZe, I think they have to force this one. If you go for a save, you allow EQUINOX to go to 11. FaZe need to look for the win here. They need to look for some sort of win condition. If they do not go for a force, I just think they give away too many rounds. 3 to 11 is an 8-round deficit. FaZe would have to play perfect for the rest of the attacking half to really come back from that. And even now, they don't have to think about how they can do damage on this particular pistol, because even this pistol, despite being seriously disadvantaged, they need some good strats here. Try and take away from some Spectres and really go for it.
EQUINOX looking for an opening peek off the flashpoint raise combo. Won't get enough of an angle to find anything. The EQUINOX are starting to establish that the threat very much so is alive in the middle of the map, and with that, it looks like D-Cop will try to transition up towards B tower to help out again. But now through vents, FaZe able to take away ropes and an opportunity for them to swing over to A if they want to, but still considering which site they want to try to hit.
FaZe slowly moving into B tower right now. Will be a bit of response here. 2 players. Pancakes will see plenty here. Pancakes will get 2, 3, 4. I thought there might have been a 4th there, but D-Cop Gets one in there as well. So this round is very quickly done and dusted now. Raucus by himself, no spike control, is going to get rushed down. Decop doesn't care. Raucus can't hit the shots, gets tagged as well, gets bagged as well, and now 11 plus Flawless goes the way of EQUINOX.
Oh, man.
Right there.
Must win round here for FaZe. Have to get this online, and it's just, again, 75% since the Pulse series have EQUINOX been defensively on split. 19-8 for Decop, who has mostly been doing a lot of the assist work for his squad in the first two maps. He has been taking over here on split, and FaZe is in a really tough position. At least they'll have a weapon advantage coming into this one.
Very quickly moving as well. There it is. 1-1 trade, but Baby Bait is down.
Oh,
Notice that, by the
boy.
way. EQUINOX have the worst equipment. They have a 1+. Now Mina alive. Just using the Bulldog. That's the best gun on EQUINOX, and they're taking down rifles. 3-4 now. The good news for FaZe is technically their guns haven't been taken away yet. There's no upgrades for EQUINOX, and that is the only silver lining as Corey is going to try and make his way over towards B.
Avril, that's a silver lining that even Bob Ross can't make that
It's a
color
thin
come alive.
line.
It's that dark. We'll see how they try to work this one, though. Decop
And now they get
mid-map,
the guns.
they're going to be able to try to find a way to clear things out.
no.
But, okay, Marv finds the kill off screen. That's actually over towards A. So an opportunity here to potentially threaten the site. And a 3v3, leveling up the numbers makes life a lot easier. But now time is a big consideration. 40 seconds, and they haven't fully committed yet.
That's huge for Marv because he prevents Mina from taking a gun upgrade, prevents anyone else from going for the gun as well. And they have now out-rotated
30 seconds
EQUINOX,
left.
who have moved towards B. They're going to get a free A site hit. They have 3 rifles. EQUINOX, these are the 3 players that only have Spectres. Again, no gun upgrades. All the Phantoms are on the ground over towards ramps.
Cover going.
This has been a major coin toss win. Call that one a heads up.
Spike planted.
And I guess the question for here for EQUINOX is, are you going to commit to this? It looks like
need to
they're
guard ramps.
yeah. It looks like they're going for it, at least through screens. They could set up for exits if they want to, try to make life a little bit harder for FaZe in future rounds. But
No,
it
this
looks
is their
like,
bonus.
they're
They
going
go
to
for it.
stack. Yeah, they're going to stack and try to hit this together. Paint shells freeing up the corner. Fault line was placed with it. Try to combine. Corey, first blood, able to get good on this re-engage. Showstopper. Question marks there for FaZe in what was a 3v1, but they commit it regardless, and FaZe will find their fourth
Insurance.
round.
Really, really getting tight there. You can see how desperate FaZe are. They want to take 0 chances. To be fair, if they want to play the macro properly, Corey would save the showstopper for this round. But I credit Marv for that win, because if it wasn't for Marv getting the kill on Tamina, seriously, that one kill wins them the entire round. I don't joke about that, because if Marv doesn't find that kill, first of all, its numbers advantage still over towards EQUINOX. Second of all, it's Mina getting a gun upgrade, and Mina getting a gun upgrade also means everyone else getting a gun upgrade, because
yeah.
they know they get ramps for free. And then, I mean, you have the situation where beyond all of that, EQUINOX get out-rotated. They go towards B, they stack, and FaZe just go to A for free. So, massive round for FaZe.
Still so far to go. And already you've got 2 players pushed up over towards A ramps, not being contested even in the slightest here from EQUINOX. There is the consideration that Mina's nearby, but Babybait's going to clear off fence, and with the spike dropped over towards A long, this is going to be an A commit. So defensively speaking, you've got Marv, Mina, or pardon me, defensively.
Corey.
Oh, okay, hold on a second off screen. That's actually a pretty big kill. But defensively for DXN, Mina and Decop, they're going to be in a position where they know that they have to play for a retake.
Look at the info. Fat Boys pushed up. They know it's going to be A now. Smoke comes through as well. You get a very fast rotation. He's got to go now, and they're certainly diving in.
Mina, though, finds 2 just off screen, nearly gets the 3rd, but DXN will convert onto Zach. Last player in the corner. 1 knife will connect with Raucus. This would be a 1v5 situation. Not able to pull it off. EQUINOX now on match point, and 1 more round doesn't just give him the match. It gets him into the closed qualifier, and will send FaZe home, having to replay over through the UMG tournament in a couple of weeks.
And that's the thing, right? You want to make it to the actual main closed qualifier portion of this. Top 16 secures it for you. A massive pickup for a team like EQUINOX that are coming through the ranks. to be able to get something like that over what you'd expect to be a T1 team. And for FaZe, it would be a very harsh loss as well. And you have to go back to split. You have to go to the 7 rounds that EQUINOX got earlier on. And that is the disaster scenario that FaZe find themselves in now. Raucous, time for redemption, has the Rolling Thunder available. We've seen some really awkward usages of the Rolling Thunder on attack, courtesy of Decop, but, you know, can't speak too poorly of him. Decop's top rank on 19 and 9, and EQUINOX 1 away from securing this map and heading over to the top 16.
Here.
3-man stack defensively towards B, which is where the spike is currently leaning towards. Flash trying to open up some space mid-map. Nothing going to be found there either. This is going to be a 4-man stack over towards the outside areas of B. And you're just kind of wondering, what are you going to use here to try to open this up? Here comes the Rolling Thunder. That's all towards tower. It's going to open up space. Cute Fatboy gets tagged up by a couple of paint shells. But Decop is able to find himself the aftershock kill on the spike carrier. Paint
this is done.
We're 2, looking like GG. Zach, the last one left, able to find 1 kill, but the trade instantly there. EQUINOX coming off of a shaky Renegades Invitational. They find the 2-1 versus FaZe Clan, and they have punched a ticket to the closed qualifiers next weekend.
Yeah, they punch 5 something else is either in that series as well. That was ridiculous. What an insane finish for EQUINOX. And Aftershock gets 1 kill on the way in. How is that even possible? Decop plays so well this entire map. And then you see the showstopper, you see all the rest of the kills, you see the spike being dropped. It is just a blunder of errors coming through for the side of FaZe on that final round. But you look at Split overall, we had 2 very close maps, but you would not be able to call Split close at all. Ascent, super winnable for both teams. You'd go over to Bind, you say that's more FaZe favored, but you don't count out EQUINOX for sure. It's still close enough. You look over to this map, 7-0 and 9-3 start on the offense nonetheless. Then you get into a situation where EQUINOX are favored on defense anyway, and you have a recipe for a FaZe disaster and a massive EQUINOX win.
Well, again, we'll take a look back at this instant replay of the series brought to you by GoPuff, the official delivery partner of Nerd Street Gamers, in which you can use promo code NerdStreet to sign up, and you'll get $4 off your first 4 orders. GoPuff, order in seconds, delivered in minutes. And speaking of delivering things in minutes, how about this play from Zach? Flashed up once, beautiful exchange, gets the second flash, comes out, avoids that for 3, and even in a losing effort overall in the series, that for me was probably play of the match.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also think, you know, if this goes to FaZe, if this series went to FaZe 2 and 1, I would have been happy to give Zachary the MVP award as well. But I think Mina, this is what you have to look out for. Despite dying here, this is, by the way, when FaZe Baby Bay gets his second 2 kills of the 4. That is a pretty big pickup in terms of the round impact. But speaking of impact, and you saw what Mina did there, this is going to be Mina again very quickly onto Corey. This ended up being that round that FaZe didn't read, that Mina possibly had the operator available. So Mina just does spectacularly well on Ascent. You look towards Bind as well. Not really too great for Mina. Then over towards Split. Mina once again just opened things up. And also Cute Boy. Remember this ace.
Incredible stuff. I mean, our first map was really kind of framing up what this series was going to look like. I mean, both teams we were kind of talking about off stream before we got in. They've loved to play Ascent and Bind so far through this tournament as well during the Renegades Invitational, and both of them had found at least some success while playing through that map, and it would at least give us a really solid first map to kind of build off of. But then we got into Bind, and things started to turn around a touch. For a moment after we saw EQUINOX again setting themselves off after some successful pistols, FaZe started down very early, but then again, the gun rounds came through. Baby Bay finessing, really making up for some of the missed moments that he had in Ascent here in this one on Bind.
Yeah, for sure, and I think this is also where Zach played super well. This is another map where Zach drops 20+. Baby Bay had a much better game. There was that 2-round spree. I think the last round of the first half, the first pistol round of the next half as well. 7 total kills. He ended with 3, and then the pistol he got 4 kills. So Baby Bay did quite well, at least in the transition periods. Overall, this ended up being quite a dominant map for the side of FaZe. And I think looking back on the series overall as well, despite how critical I've been about FaZe on Split, now, that is definitely something they have to readdress for the next qualifier when they come back for UMG. But looking over towards Ascent, that's probably the map that cost them the entire series, because it was close enough that they could have possibly have won. but just barely out of reach, slipping through their fingers. Whereas you probably assume, especially now in hindsight, looking at how Split went, they really couldn't win Split. Split was always going to be an EQUINOX map. It was so dominant for Nox that you don't really look at this map and say, yeah, FaZe should have won this one. You can maybe make that argument for Ascent, which is why for FaZe in this series, if they were going to win, they would have had to do it in two, a 2-0 Ascent and Bind, and obviously not Split.
And for Split, again, you take the first 7 rounds for EQUINOX on the attacking side, and we threw around the statistic that since the Pulse series, playing through the 30-bomb tournament, things like that, that they were winning 75% of their defenses. That's an astronomical number, one of the best numbers that you could find in recent memory when it comes to a specific side on a specific map. And you got to give credit for FaZe. They started to bring things back a little bit near the end, winning 3 of the last 5, but once again, the pistol eludes them, and it puts them in a really terrible spot to start off their offensive side.
Yeah, let me break that one down for you as well. 5 out of 6 pistols, so that's the vast majority of pistols. Could have even been 6. And this is that last one as well. Decop finds Marv straight away. There's not really too much to talk about here. It's just a showstopper onto 2. Spike is dropped in the middle of nowhere, and FaZe in a 1v5. It ends up being, I believe, not quite a flawless, but probably should have been a flawless. Mina takes away the MVP for me personally for the side of Nox here, just because of how impactful he was on both the 2 winning maps. Yes, we can argue that Mina didn't really play well onto Blind, but where he needed to play well, especially on that opening pistol the second half, like he clutched up that pistol hard. 3 kills, including the final kill on the Raucus as well. Ridiculous. That could have been a pistol that brings things much closer. That could have been a pistol that even saves a team like FaZe, where they would have been up 5 to, a 9 at that stage in the game, but winning 5 out of 6 pistols, one of them courtesy of a 3K from Mina, is just way too overwhelming. To do the maths on that one, by the way, winning 9 pistols, and I believe they won every single anti-eco except for 1, that's 9 rounds for the side of EQUINOX that they just get. And I'll even give them an extra one that technically they get 10, because remember there was that early force on the second round of Ascent as well. So because of the force there's end up being 3 rounds in a row that EQUINOX gets. So they still get 10 rounds. I'm not going to say for free, but they get a 10-round advantage from winning 5 pistols.
Yeah, and you want to talk about just the heads-up comparison between Jet players of Babybay and Mina. 52 and 47 for Mina. 36 and 50 overall between all 3 maps for Babybay. A big differential of nearly 20 total eliminations between the 2 of them. We talked about it at the top of the show. Would FaZe Clan's double duelist setups find their favor in this matchup versus EQUINOX, who, to be fair, have given up trying to play things like Reyna as much as they were previously a couple of weeks ago? Would they be able to handle the pressure of the duelists? And we got our answer pretty convincingly there on Split, although there was a pretty big debate happening over the first 2 maps. Yeah. But just a couple of other updates. Again, there are multiple streams that are going on. Exclamation point streams will give you the feed for a number of other of our community broadcasters that are hosting some other coverage on top of their personal channels. So far as what we know, Sentinels, Gen G, Envy, T1, all those big names make it through. But how about this one for you, Avril? Xset upsetting Immortals 2-1. The former Pretty Boys squad, they have a date with Destiny with Gen G coming up in their round of 16.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one, actually. And to be fair with you, I looked at that one on the sheet, and I thought that's a winnable game for the side of Xset. And to be honest with you, there's the other winnable game was this one. I did say at the beginning of the broadcast, this isn't just me backpedaling and, now that EQUINOX have won, I'm suddenly the EQUINOX bandwagon. But remember, at the start of the broadcast, I said this was a 50-50 because FaZe had made some really big changes in terms of their roles for the team. They hadn't looked super hot in previous tournaments. Their own FaZe Clan Invitational was reasonably average for them. They did make quarters over towards, the Renegades Invitational, which is slightly better, definitely better than what EQUINOX did. So that's the 1+ on the side of FaZe. But EQUINOX had been outside of the Renegades Invitational, overall better results. So I said it was a 50-50. It ends up going heads the way of, obviously it's got nothing to do with luck, just 50-50 in terms of who you would probably favor on paper here. Looking over towards Immortal Xset just won the last 10K invitational, not invitational, the 10K tournament put up by NSG just on the weekend. Yeah. So I casted that one. I was there for the grand finals, and Xset looked legitimately good. Immortals have had multiple player changes for this roster. They lost Dicey and Asuna over to 100 Thieves as well, and Immortals are having to try and rebuild this roster with new players. And you know what? I have high hopes for them, but honestly, it doesn't surprise me that they lost Xset because Immortals have not had enough time to really gel together just yet. And I guess to cap it off as well, Alan, we look across the rest of the games, and the big ones for me would be that Cloud9 actually made it through, but Cloud9 White unfortunately did not make it through.
Yeah, beyond that, how about Energy Esports in one of their first big tournaments lose to Complexity in 3? Luminosity able to get a bit of revenge versus Andbox, who was able to take away that Renegades Invitational. Very impressive performance of them, but still have to find a way to qualify. And then you talk about 100 Thieves. They are currently map 3 versus Moon Raccoons. Do not sleep on that Moon Raccoons team. A lot of you guys out there have not been paying attention. It's showing because this Moon Raccoons team is nasty. But we're going to send things to a break here and figure out where exactly we'll go for our coverage for the round of 16. Stick with us. That's Avril, my whole shift. We'll be back right after this.